Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm rising in support of this floor amendment. And let me explain to you the reason why.
Please proceed in support.
You know, although my first impression that it's redundant, ill-timed, ill-conceived, it does serve the purpose of prompting my recollection that there actually should be a task force report or something similar to this before this body. I think, if I recall correctly, sometime in mid-September, there was a newspaper article in the Star Advertiser disclosing the fact that a draft of a task force report, which was convened by both the House and Senate leadership, comprised of both House and Senate members, including some of the members of the clergy, the business community, members of the advocacy groups, university professors of economy, School of Sociology at the University of Hawaii Manoa, some DPED officials and staff, and I believe the Dean of the Law School, the Richardson School of Law at the UH Manoa. I believe in that article it suggested that there was a draft report that was being circulated for approval by the task force members, and then finally publication released to the body, House and Senate members, all 76 of us. Heretofore, we have not received a copy, or I have not received a copy, but I haven't been here every day of the week, so I may have not been around to receive it. So I guess as a way of supporting this floor amendment, I also beg the question through this support, and my words herein is, where is the draft report? What happened to the draft report? And can we see the draft report before we vote on this floor amendment? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Representative. Representative Thielen.
Thank you.
First time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in response to the representative from
Thielen,
I'm sorry. I'm in opposition to the amendment.
Please proceed in opposition.
Thank you. In response to the representatives from Laie, Kapolei, and Wahiawa, this is not about money. This is about equal rights. And Mr. Speaker, let the legislature vote. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Representative Fale, second time.
Mr. Speaker, I was in that meeting with the Attorney General, and I was in that meeting with the governor. That's exactly that was told. The very first thing, number one on the list, good for Hawaii's economy, $200 and so million. That was the number. That was the underscored thing, that this was issue about federal income tax or whatever, federal benefits in regards to that, and economic beneficiary issues. So I say again, Mr. Speaker, what I was told. I can only tell you what I was told, Mr. Speaker, about what this was all about, what the special session was about, and the urgency of calling it had to do with going into next year's tax season. I would say, Mr. Speaker, in answer to the question of who has caused the division, the governor has caused the division, Mr. Speaker. He has put this on this body, on this state, in our communities, without thinking through this and what the impacts were. We knew that we're still waiting for that report on the study of what same-sex marriage would do here in the state of Hawaii. But once again, Mr. Speaker, we voted on SB1, HD1 on Wednesday. That report didn't even come onto our desk till we were already here in session. Not a single member of this body was afforded the opportunity to take that measure back to their community and run it by them to see how they felt about it. Not a single representative in this body, Mr. Speaker, was afforded that opportunity to go back to the community and say, is this okay? Is this all right? We asked for that recess. We said, please allow us, give us 5 days to arrange town halls throughout our community so that we can talk to the families, to the people who are going to have to live under this. I've been getting emails from everybody who have been criticizing me on my position on this issue, and I said, I wasn't even given the opportunity to come and ask you and your family how you felt about this. And that's wrong, Mr. Speaker. I wasn't allowed the opportunity. That's my job, is to be a conduit between myself and the district that I represent. And I wasn't even able to talk to those who were for and against it to see what their position was on SB1, HD1. And that's wrong. And my position is, even more important than letting the legislature vote is let the people vote, Mr. Speaker. Let the people vote. All power in the state of Hawaii is vested in the people of this state. And given the tight situation and the divisions that exist this day...
Representative Matsumoto, would you yield your time to Representative Fale?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I yield my time.
Thank you very much.
Given the importance, thank you very much. Given the importance of this issue and what we are physically seeing manifested today on what it's doing, Mr. Speaker, on matters of this significance, of this importance, we need to go back to the authority that gives us the power that we have in this legislature, Mr. Speaker, which is the people of Hawaii. I trust them. We all should trust them. Whenever we get into binds, whenever I have a rift with my brother, my mom and dad would tell me it doesn't matter who's right. The bonds that you have as family are more important than anything else on the face of this earth. The bonds we have as people of the state of Hawaii is more important than any economic benefit that may be derived from this measure. And we've heard that there may not be any economic benefit to this. On the whole, it may be a negative, and we need to know that. But more importantly, far and above any of that, are the bonds that bind us together as people, Mr. Speaker, and this measure has caused more division than it's worth to our families, to our communities, and this state. And once again, Mr. Speaker, don't let this legislature vote, let the people vote.
Thank you very much, Representative. Any further discussion?
Speaker.
Representative Ward, a second time.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I feel compelled as a member of the Finance Committee and one who cried for empiricism when I hear my colleague from Kapolei talking about the numbers. I feel compelled to respond because what the perspective I bring is a little bit different than most people. I mentioned earlier in another speech a few days ago, half of my relatives are Muslims. There's 300 million Muslims in the area that she spoke of. 300 million Muslims are a pretty viable number. And I should mention that I was speaking of to the Dante Carpenter of Malaysia, the head of the coalition, who loves Obama, by the way, but he cannot figure out what is this bent with him and the other states going towards same-sex marriage. The Muslim nations of the world are very concerned about what they see happening. So to say that the 250 million of the Indonesian population is going to come to Hawaii, which is now emerging as a really big middle class, plus the other 1 billion from China. And Mr. Speaker, we heard those who were just off the boat, if you will. They were very new immigrants. They said, in China, I can't say these things, but in America, thank God I can speak out. Same-sex marriage is antithetical to our culture. It shouldn't pass, et cetera, et cetera. Those representing even a minuscule amount of the 1.3, now 1.4 billion in China is going to be a formidable negative reaction. So again, for the sake of empiricism and keeping our eyes open, this measure has merit, and that's why I spoke twice on it. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much,
Mr.
Representative.
Speaker?
Representative Luke.
Thank you very much. In opposition, and
Opposition,
I take great
please
offense
proceed.
to the accusation made by the representative from Kapolei. And the financial issues, although I don't know if it's relevant to this bill, was extensively debated, and especially thanks to the representative from Hawaii Kai, questioned various testifiers about the financial impact. So with that, I call for the question.
Members, we are going to take a voice vote. There has been no request for a roll call. We are going to take a voice vote on the floor amendment number 14. Members, vote aye if you're in favor of floor amendment number 14. Vote no if you're opposed to floor amendment 14. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. No. The floor amendment has failed.
Mr.
Representative
Speaker, can we have a
Representative
brief
Saiki.
recess?
Recess.